video I'm going to answer a question from Courtney on Instagram, and she asks, how do you stay diligent and consistent with everything you do? How do you balance your life in general? Eating healthy, exercising, practicing affirmations, and not procrastinating with your work. This is a great question, and I'm going to get right into the answer by sharing with you a few tips and tricks and things that I like to keep in mind. Okay, the first thing is I really believe in doing less but doing it well. I find that sticking to a list of 3, maybe 5 things maximum that I really need to get done that day is much better for me than writing a list of 20 different things that I need to do that day. Because I find that by writing such a massive list, it's so overwhelming that I tend to not even want to look at it. I feel like it's just this big burden of so many tasks that I need to get done that I tend to want to procrastinate more and just not even look at it. But if I can identify 3 or maximum 5 things that are really important that day, then it tends to be a lot more doable. And I find that if you do write down 3 things in the morning that you need to get done that day, even if you don't remember to look at that list, the odds are you'll remember what those 3 things are because there's only 3 of them. For more on productivity and time management, I really recommend checking out Brian Tracy's books and audiobooks. I have followed him for years. I have listened to probably thousands of hours of his work on my walks because I love to listen to educational audiobooks while I take nature walks. And Brian Tracy has taught me so much. I highly recommend his book called Eat That Frog, and basically this leads me to my next point, which is another thing I do is I constantly am learning new techniques, and I'm constantly inspiring myself by listening to other people who inspire me. And so, for example, Brian Tracy, as I mentioned, and there are so many other people who have given me great tips and motivation to stay on track with my goals and things that are important to me. Some others are Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Dorothea Brand, and many more. I will link some of them in the bottom for you. As I've mentioned previously in my other videos, it's really important to surround yourself by people who inspire you and motivate you and help you to stay on track with what's important to you in your life. And if you find that you don't have as many of those people in your life as you'd like to, then another great thing to do is to find audiobooks or books or content online of people who do inspire you and motivate you. So for me, personal development is not a one-time thing where I read a book, I'm inspired, and then I never have to learn anything again. I'll be honest, I'm not always 100% self-motivated to do all of the things that I want to do, but that's where I make sure to prioritize and take the time to listen to personal development audiobooks and listen to things that inspire me and remind me of what's important and teach me new techniques. And so making time for that is really important. Alright, my next tip for staying on track and staying diligent and consistent with what's important to you is to know your own preferences and tendencies. For example, if you know that in the morning hours you get 10 times more quality work done than in the afternoon and evenings, then why not get up a little bit earlier? Give yourself an extra hour to focus on whatever it is that's important to you. Or if you work well in quiet spaces, try to find a way to give yourself those quiet moments, that time that you can really focus on what's important. And so that's up to you, and that kind of takes some practice and some trial and error. Just be aware of what motivates you. The times that you were very disciplined in your life, what did you attribute that to? And as much as it can be great to take other people's advice on what worked for them, I find that it's really important to ask what works for you. And if you can find an area of your life that you are very disciplined and organized and consistent, maybe with your eating habits, ask yourself how you can apply what you do in those areas of your life with the other areas of your life that you're wanting to be more consistent and diligent with. And just be honest with yourself with what works and what doesn't. If you find that keeping junk food in your cupboard is really tempting to you and it just makes you go for it all the time and you find that you end up eating it, then don't keep junk food in your cupboard. And so just do what works for you. and you asked what helps keep me consistent with healthy eating. That is one area that I actually really enjoy eating healthy, and so when you enjoy something, it tends to become a lot easier. There are other things in my life that I try to stay consistent with that maybe I enjoy a bit less and they do take a bit more effort, but to me, honestly, I love being creative with cooking healthy meals and mixing different spices together and trying to find things that taste really good that are also really healthy. And so the more joy and pleasure you can bring into what you do, the higher the odds of you sticking with it and staying consistent with it and having it become a natural part of your life. Lastly, I just want to say we only see snippets of everyone else's lives, whether it's people that we know in person or on social media, online. So everyone has their challenges, and I think it's just important to remember that, because it can seem like everyone else has everything so together and we're just still trying to get to that level. But the truth is, you've got strengths that I do not have, and maybe I have strengths that I'm sharing and helping you with and sharing tips on, but we are all just in motion, growing, developing as people, and so just enjoy the journey. The more you can kind of go with the flow, enjoy it. I find personal development to be something that I actually truly enjoy, and it's great to be able to look back on the growth that I've achieved in different areas of my life, and that's something that I highly recommend to you, is to look at it in a way that you can actually enjoy it versus struggling to get to this fictional place where there are zero challenges in your life. And so the more you enjoy things, the better they are. Alright, I hope you found this video to be helpful. I will see you in my next one.